My daughter's art teacher asked, "Why is your child drawing maps of a city the government demolished and erased from all records?" Mr. Gaines stood at his classroom door holding a portfolio of my daughter's artwork, his hands trembling slightly. The hallway smelled of paint and cleaning solution, and other parents were streaming past us toward their own conferences. I'd expected to discuss Lily's progress with watercolors or her tendency to work alone during group projects. Instead, he pulled out a detailed ink drawing that made my breath catch. It showed a street grid with labeled buildings, parks, and intersections rendered in precise architectural detail. The legend in the corner read, "Ashmont District, 1,994 inches," in my 8-year-old daughter's careful handwriting. Mr. Gaines asked if I recognized the location. I told him I'd never seen it before. His voice dropped to barely above a whisper. "Mrs. Chen, I have a master's degree in urban geography. I spent 2 years researching erased American cities for my thesis. Ashmont was a thriving neighborhood of 30,000 people in Pennsylvania that was demolished in 1996 under eminent domain. Every building was razed. Every resident was forcibly relocated. All municipal records were sealed or destroyed. The official story claims Ashmont never existed as a distinct municipality, that it was just an unincorporated area that was legally absorbed. But I found evidence in archived newspapers and satellite imagery that proved otherwise. This drawing your daughter made matches the actual street layout exactly, down to businesses and landmarks that were never digitized or recorded publicly." I stared at the drawing, trying to make sense of what he was telling me. Lily was 8 years old. She'd never been to Pennsylvania. She spent her time playing with dolls and watching cartoons, not studying urban planning or historical maps. I asked how he could be certain it was accurate. Mr. Gaines pulled out his phone and showed me a grainy satellite image from 1995 that he'd obtained through his research. The street patterns matched Lily's drawing perfectly. He'd compared them side by side. The angles, the spacing, even the small details were identical. He'd asked Lily where she'd learned about Ashmont, and she'd looked confused, saying she didn't know what he was talking about. She'd just been drawing what was in her head. Mr. Gaines said this wasn't the only one. Over the past month, Lily had produced 15 different maps of Ashmont, each showing a different section of the district. Together, they formed a complete cartographic record of a place that had been systematically erased. He'd kept them in his classroom, not showing them to anyone else yet, because he wanted to talk to me first. His expression was worried when he said that if the wrong people discovered what Lily was drawing, there could be serious consequences. I asked what he meant by consequences. Mr. Gaines glanced down the hallway before answering. The demolition of Ashmont was legally questionable at best. The eminent domain seizure was fast-tracked through courts in ways that violated residents' rights. There were allegations of corporate collusion, of payoffs to local officials, of environmental contamination that was covered up rather than remediated. A major development corporation wanted the land for a distribution center that would generate massive profits. They partnered with state officials to classify the area as blighted, even though it was a stable working-class community. Residents who protested were threatened or arrested. A few activists tried to fight it and disappeared, literally disappeared. The woman who led the resistance was named Grace Holloway. She organized documentation efforts, filmed the demolitions, gathered evidence of the corruption. Then one day she was gone. Her family said she'd moved away voluntarily. Others said she'd been silenced permanently. Either way, the documentation she'd gathered vanished with her. The corporate interests won. Ashmont was erased, and everyone involved made sure it stayed erased. My hands felt cold holding Lily's drawings. I asked if he thought my daughter was in danger because of these maps. Mr. Gaines said he didn't know, but he believed I should be careful about who saw them. If anyone connected to the original demolition discovered that someone was reconstructing detailed maps of Ashmont, they might take action to protect their interests. I told him this was insane, that my daughter was just a child making drawings, that surely nobody would care about maps of a place that hadn't existed in over 25 years. His expression made my blood run cold. To see the full story, click the link below or go on my channel.